Hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM, here with my tag team partner in podcasting.
Hey, it's Eric Cornish with WKDQ. Welcome to the Enhancement Talents, where we talk all things wrestling. And, before we get started, actually, this just popped into my brain here. We talk all things wrestling, not just WWE. The local wrestling scene in Evansville is getting heated. That's all I'm saying. In the next couple weeks, we're gonna have to get some of these folks going.
Sure, they're always welcome to come down.
Yeah, there's. Let me just say, we won't go into specifics yet, but if you're a fan of local wrestling in Evansville, things are heating up again, and so we'll see if we can get some of the parties involved.
Sure.
To explain what's going on here.
Does this involve some of the midgets that were in town this weekend?
No, I didn't even know about that.
I didn't either, but apparently there was a midget wrestling event that I was hearing about.
How did we not know about that?
Kat and 44 weather personality Jackie Brown told me they were at. Well, Kat was invited to it, and Jackie Brown actually went to it.
Wow.
So
I wish I'd have known about that.
I would have been there too.
All right. Well, let's transition into WWE talk, and we'll give you a chance to win 6 months of the WWE Network sometime in this podcast.
That's right.
So be looking for the keyword coming up.
Just put it into the form and you're entered to win. Okay, now this weekend is SummerSlam.
It's like, is that 20? No, it's
88 was the first one.
88? Is that right? All right.
So 27?
Yeah. Okay.
There's been a lot of them.
Yeah.
SummerSlam is very close to my heart, Eric, as you know. One of my favorite events of the year. And the very first wrestling show I ever saw, the show that made me a fan of pro wrestling, was SummerSlam 1994.
All right, and that was so that would bring you to about your 21st birthday here. You can drink at a wrestling event now. Congratulations!
My wrestling fansmanship can drink at a wrestling event now, so this is great. And you know, even before '94 and also after '94, there have been some great memories from the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam.
Yeah, and as I started to think of some of my favorite moments, it's weird because it's not like WrestleMania. It's to me at least. I can't think back to a lot of specific moments at SummerSlam. Like I have to think twice and go, was that at SummerSlam? I don't know. So I mean, they consider it the second biggest event of the year. To me, not as many memorable moments, but certainly some that I can think of.
It's a little bit harder, but to me only because the WrestleMania ones get replayed over and over and over again. Whereas SummerSlam, we kind of have to think a little bit. I can tell you my favorite moment as a wrestling fan and my favorite wrestling match of all time happened at SummerSlam in '94. I love the aftermath of that Bret Hart-Owen Hart cage match. The match in itself is fantastic, but when the whole family gets involved, and it just looks, I mean, it's a total melee. You got people hitting each other with shoes, and you got hearts falling all over the place, and to me that was a lot of fun. That's what gripped me, and that's what made me want to watch Raw that next week.
I recently watched that pay-per-view again on the network, and I was a big fan, especially of that match, and that was a long match.
It was.
A lot of time. You know, and
I think Bret was sick in that match, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it definitely was one of those highlights of that pay-per-view, which was otherwise not great. I mean, the Undertaker thing was.
That was gonna be one of my other ones.
You know, when I was a kid, it was kind of cool, but even I knew that's obviously not the real Undertaker. He's shorter, he's a little chubbier, you know.
But for me, I had no. I mean, I didn't know one from the other.
Right.
I didn't know Undertaker from Adam, as they say, or Adams. As they say. So yeah, I didn't have those obstacles getting into that match. I just thought it was cool that they had this clone of this guy who was a big deal, and I kind of fell in love with that story too. So that was another one of my favorite moments.
I'll go back before that because this was a big turning point, especially for me, a kid who was a big fan of the Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior beating the Honky Tonk Man in less than 30 seconds for the Continental title.
I believe 14 was it? Or am I mistaken?
It was, I don't know. I mean, I just know Honky Tonk never got his jumpsuit off. It was just you know, he was hitting him with random clotheslines. Honky was doing a good job selling because the Warrior, you know, was just kind of all over the place. But I love his little hump motion when he wins the Intercontinental title too. That's
the air hump.
That's one of my favorites.
Warrior.
But it was exciting, you know, to be a Warrior fan and just to see him come out. You didn't expect him to be the mystery opponent.
Yeah.
With Beefcake being on the shelf. So anyway, that was a cool moment for me.
Is that the same show? I remember it was one of the first three. I think it may have been the very first one actually, where Miss Elizabeth disrobes down to like her
yes,
her bloomers.
That was the first one. I think that was 88. I think the Warrior one was 89.
And the whole like Zeus and everyone getting all distracted by it because oh my goodness, there's Miss Elizabeth in a bathing suit bottom.
Yeah. That really the first two were very similar. I think the first one is when you had Hogan. That was the one with Elizabeth because you had Hogan and Savage, and they were taking on Andre and DiBiase.
Oh, okay.
It was the second one when it was Beefcake and Hogan.
Okay.
And that was Zeus and Savage.
I may have been mixing them up.
So yeah, but yeah, I remember that too, and that's so uncharacteristic for Miss Elizabeth.
Such a classy lady using her wiles to distract the opponents.
I'm going to say one of my favorite SummerSlams of all time was 2002. I think top to bottom that card was really, really good.
It got started with Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio,
yeah.
And they brought the house down. That show never lost momentum, including Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Triple H, Shawn, even like think about it, like the lowest card match on that. On that card was like Undertaker and Test. I mean, that was a great match.
Yeah, and the main event, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Brock win the title from Rock?
Yeah, which was
a great show.
Dominant fashion. I mean, that was just a really, really good SummerSlam in my opinion.
Is that your favorite?
Probably. I'd say that's top to bottom. I think that's probably my favorite.
That's a great show, but I do think there's a better one. That's in my top 5. I can list my top 5.
Sure.
But my favorite is 1998.
Okay.
The Highway to Hell.
Highway to Hell, yeah.
Undertaker and Austin. You had a great ladder match with Rock and Triple H. You had a Lion's Den match with Owen Hart and Shamrock. There were some excellent...
And that was at MSG, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was some excellent wrestling. And just a really fun show with a really, really loaded up roster. Just like so many stars and so many angles. And for me, such a fun time in wrestling. If I had to put my number 1, it'd probably be 98.
Okay, and a couple more instances, and these have just happened the last couple years, which I think the last two have had really big moments. Talk about, Daniel Bryan, first of all, beating John Cena clean, I thought was good.
That was 2 years ago, right?
Right, and then last year with John Cena just being annihilated by Brock Lesnar, two uncharacteristically John Cena moments at SummerSlam.
Also, 2 years ago, there was a great CM Punk Brock Lesnar match that we watched together.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Another one worth mentioning, the only one I have before 94, so I had to watch it retrospectively, was 91, which had the match made in heaven and the match made in hell. It had Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
It had a match where the Mountie went to jail
That's true,
after wrestling Boston. Was there a cage match on that show too? I can't remember.
That was 90.
Okay,
was the cage match with Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rude.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, but still 91 from top to bottom, a very watchable show. So I like that one. Do you want more of my tops?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's see. I mentioned 94. I'm missing. Oh, 2004 had a very good one as well. 2004 had Benoit and Triple H, I think, went in at that one.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember Lesnar.
Or was that Benoit and Orton?
Man,
was that year?
Maybe
See, this is where it all kind of blends together.
It's around that time where they do kind of start to fall off a little bit. But those to me, 97, I remember Bret Hart spitting in Shawn Michaels' face.
Oh, yeah.
In the Meadowlands, and a great match with Triple H and Foley in a cage. Got things started there. That's where Owen Hart dumped Steve Austin on his head.
Sure,
97.
yeah.
99 had some good stuff on it too. That was the match where Triple H was supposed to win the world title from Steve Austin, but Steve wouldn't do the job. So they brought in Mick Foley with Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, I remember that. The triple threat match there.
One I never liked. I never got behind 2001.
2001.
I'll tell you what the problem was.
Was that right in the middle of the invasion?
It was. And it was right after their awesome invasion show. And this one kind of tried to do the same thing, but it was already done a month before.
Yeah.
And it was like an Alliance guy versus a WWF guy. And that missed the mark for me.
See, that one I don't even remember him. And that was so close to the really, really good King of the Ring of that year. that one just doesn't really stand out.
Well, and my favorite pay-per-view ever was just a few months before that with WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, me too.
So love that. So those are some of my favorite SummerSlam memories. Is there any more you want to mention?
No, I think I about covered the things that I really remember about SummerSlam, and if you've got any, please let us know. You can tweet us at VETalent, and I guess we ought to go ahead and give a keyword out, which, if it's not obvious by now, SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
There you go.
One word.
You can enter it, in the form below. If you're watching us on the websites, if you're watching us on YouTube, just click the link below in the description, and that'll take you to where you need to go. And you can win 6 months of the WWE Network. You can watch all the SummerSlams from '88 on, and that should take you a little less than 6 months.
But just a little. You can binge watch all 27 of them. So, of course, for myself, the Rob,
and for Eric Cornish, enjoy your week, enjoy Monday Night Raw, and thanks for watching the Enhancement Channel.